Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask, Heidi. It is Wednesday. It is October the 2nd. Today is National Custodial Workers Recognition Day. I think that's cool. International Decorative Painting Day. Guardian Angels Day. International Day of Nonviolence. National Produce Misting Day. So those little machines
yeah, the
like
little
spray.
machines to spray. Yeah.
Yeah. National Smarties Day. I'm not a big fan of those. You do like the little Smarties,
They're
don't
okay
you?
once.
Yeah.
I mean, hardly ever, but
Yeah, I'm not.
they're fine.
National Kale Day. I just watched a video that said up until whatever year, kale was a garnish. We never ate it. Then all of a sudden, there was like this big resurgence where people were like, eat the stuff. So, and National Pumpkin Seed Day. All of those things happening and many others as well. And I've got a guest joining me today, Kat Timpf. She has a book out, and we're going to chat with her. She's a comedian, and she's an author, and she's a commentator. We're going to chat with her about her new book coming up.
Charlie has Parkinson's. Recently, Charlie started wearing a bracelet from VitaTech Healing.
I'm an avid golfer, and I was going to give it up this year. I just deteriorated that much. Now I'm back to golfing, enjoying it, having a good time. I just can't stress enough how good it is.
Click on radiosavings.com to hear more of Charlie's story and find out how VitaTech Healing is helping others with ADHD, fibromyalgia, autism, and more. Plus, find radio-only savings by clicking the link at radiosavings.com. That's radiosavings.com.
Now, surveys and studies and such brought to you by bettercreditcards.com. We definitely had a wide range of vegetables to choose from these days, but researchers show that if you're looking for the maximum health benefits, you should include one in particular, watercress. This leafy green has been named the healthiest vegetable by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, with a nutrient density score of 100 out of 100. It beat the runner-up, Chinese cabbage, by more than 8 points. The next three in order, Swiss chard, beetroot, and spinach. Of those, we've only had one, spinach.
that's correct.
I don't think I've ever tried any of the others. Why is that, Heidi? You don't love me? You won't cook with the good stuff?
I don't know. I mean, we can try all of those if you want to.
I kind of want to try this one, the number one. What was it called again? Watercress.
I don't necessarily believe any of these studies at all.
Yeah, that's true.
Spinach was supposed to be like this superfood,
Yeah.
and then they just had a decimal point in the wrong place. And
Well, it's still apparently good. It was like number 5 on the list, but watercress. Study paid for by Big Watercress. Yeah, it doesn't really say that. Surveys and studies and such brought to you by bettercreditcards.com.
If you want a better credit card, it can be easy and not so hard. BetterCreditCards.com. Earn more points and get more perks. Get what you're looking for in a card that works. BetterCreditCards.com. Give yourself a little credit. BetterCreditCards.com. Give yourself a little credit. BetterCreditCards.com.
That's bettercreditcards.com.
Did you know? Brought to you by GenesisGoldIRA.com. Heidi, did you know that over half of the people believe that a good cup of coffee can turn a bad day into a good one? I believe that.
yeah, I believe that.
Survey of coffee drinkers in the U.S. found the perfect cup of coffee is most likely to be, they say both hot and cold coffee drinkers prefer their brews medium roast with a bold, earthy, chocolatey flavor profile. By the way, 1 in 5 feel that having fresh coffee is better than having, relations with your friend. So, yeah.
And I'm a bold coffee drinker. I don't like medium roast.
Yeah, I like coffee pretty much every way you can give it to me. We don't know everything, but now we know this.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by radiosavings.com. It took Ridley Scott 20 years to return to the Roman Colosseum with Gladiator 2, but he's already planning his third trip to ancient Rome. When asked about different projects, the 86-year-old filmmaker replied, "I'd rather get into Gladiator 3. So they were asking about something else. It's like, oh, let's talk about this instead. So,
Okay.
Gladiator 2 hits theaters November the 22nd. And another story here about Gladiator 2. The trailer is out, so you can check that out. If you're interested, I've got a link to the trailer and both of the stories that we just talked about in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com. And then this is in big screen, little screen. I don't know why. Maybe just because they were in the news so much. But do you remember Octomom? Had 8 kids.
Yeah, I
Well, now
do.
she's Octo Grandmom, I think. I don't know. Nadia Sulman, who is known for giving birth to the first surviving set of octuplets 15 years ago,
Crazy.
has made an announcement that her son has welcomed a child. The 49-year-old wrote on Instagram.
He's 15.
Well, she had other kids too. Thank you, my son and my lovely daughter-in-law, for giving us this beautiful girl. Baby girl, you are so lovely, and we can't wait to watch you grow. She posted a photo of the baby's foot poking out of a pink blanket. The grandmother did not share any additional details, like the baby's name or which of the sons welcomed the addition, but the post was dated August 30th. So I think it was from one of the older
Well, that's
children.
lovely.
I think. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know everything. Big Screen, Little Screen, brought to you by RadioSavings.com.
Charlie has Parkinson's. He started wearing a bracelet from Vitatech Healing, and he's noticed a difference even while sleeping.
Once I got in bed, I couldn't roll over. I couldn't move. I was just whatever position I was in, just a chore to get out of bed. And now everything is so much better.
Click on RadioSavings.com to hear more of Charlie's story and find out how Vitatech Healing is helping others with ADHD, fibromyalgia, autism, and more. Plus, find radio-only savings by clicking the link at RadioSavings.com. That's RadioSavings.com.
Now your scoop of the day comes your way, courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. Men, according to this, are most attracted to women in their 20s, according to a report. When I first met you, you were in your 20s.
Yeah.
And I was attracted to you, so this all checks out.
Hopefully you still are.
I'm still very attracted to you. You've aged like a fine wine.
Have I?
You have indeed. And we'll move on because the rest of that story, like there's nothing else to it, but I just think we're going to get ourselves in trouble if we keep talking about it. So, because there's a lot of things when I read that story, doesn't it just seem like kind of creepy, pervy stuff when you think about that? Who are they asking?
I mean, of course they're more attracted to women in their 20s. That's when you're healthiest and you're
I don't even want to know how old the people were
confident.
that they were asking. I just don't. That's why I said let's just move on. It's not often that when you hear the words Facebook and mental health when they're mentioned in the same sentence, it's usually not positive. But recently, an AI working for Meta alerted police that a woman was about to commit suicide. The 23-year-old was distraught over what India media said was a relationship issue. She uploaded a video that was similar to a suicide letter. She fastened a noose around her neck as she was speaking. The clip went viral. Police received an automated message from Meta AI that included a rough location of her phone. A female officer spoke to the woman. She eventually removed the noose. Reports say that the police are now remaining in constant contact with her to make sure she stays safe. So you don't usually think of, those things.
That's terrifying.
That really is. But I'm glad it ended the way it ended. And an Oak Hill Animal Shelter charity was invited to start an inmate dog training program in southern New Mexico correctional facility last year. Now they are filled with joy and fulfillment because they've created happy people on one side and happy pups on the other side. This ongoing program
that's worked well in many areas.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's lovely.
This ongoing program has helped inmates develop compassion, and it's also helped the dogs as well. So 8 inmates at Las Cruces prison are now caring for 4 dogs in the program.
Love that.
And they've become so devoted on their mission that they held a fundraiser to help pay for the program's cost. One of those involved wrote, I am changed by this experience. And so are all of the dogs. But one that graduated from the program has quickly been adopted. So this dog is now adopted by somebody else.
I bet that's hard on the inmates when the dogs have to go.
But I bet they're also happy for them to have their freedom. Scoop of the day comes your way, courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com.
Can your IRA or 401k stand up to the next financial crisis? By allocating a percentage of your retirement into physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover, you can diversify and safeguard your holdings from turbulent markets and economic downturns. Safeguard your assets with a tax-free rollover with a Genesis Gold IRA, the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Protect your retirement today with a simple phone call and receive your free gold and silver guide. Call 1-800-200-GOLD or visit GenesisGoldIRA.com.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Excited to visit with Kat Timpf. She's a writer and a comedian and a commentator from Fox News and a co-host of Gutfeld. And she's got a brand new book. She's already a best-selling author, and her new book is called I Used to Like You Until How Binary Thinking Divides Us. Kat, what was it that made you decide that it's time for this book right now?
Well, I mean, looking around is what made me decide I got to write this thing right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I wrote this mostly, so I'm on tour right now for this book, but I wrote this mostly when I was on tour for my last one. And going to all these different places, very different places. I went to Portland, Oregon. I also went to Midland, Texas. Okay.
Yeah.
People are very different in Midland than they are from people in Portland. But what I discovered and what I realized is more and more true based on research, the more I looked into this topic, is that many of us want a lot of the same things. We just have different ideas for how to get there. And, if you want to win over and connect with someone who's different from you, the best way is to focus on what you have in common first. So this book is really a guide for how to be wise to the kind of, and we are being conditioned to believe this isn't true. because the division is beneficial to the powerful. It really is. So it's kind of how to be wise to that, and then also how to connect with someone who might have written you off.
Absolutely. Now, I've never written a book, so I have no idea. How long does it take to write a book like this? Couple weeks, couple months, couple years?
I wrote this book in a couple of months.
Nice.
I wrote it as I was living it. I wanted to get this book out before the election because I assumed that things would get worse before the election, and they have gotten worse. And it's a risky book to put out right now because all anybody really wants to hear is how their side rules or their side's the best and the other side's evil. But that's all the more reason why I thought it was so important to make sure this book comes out now, because we have a lot to lose.
Yeah.
This conditioning of the two sides of this binary thinking, it works great for the government and media in terms of gaining more power and control. And they're going to use division to get you to think it's a great idea to give up your own rights, for example. So if you really want to get along with and win people over so we can work together, then this is a guide for that. And if you don't know if you do it or you're not sure, this is an explainer of why you should, especially if you care about your relationships, but also your freedom.
Absolutely. Again, the book is called I Used to Like You Until, How Binary Thinking Divides Us. And I'll bet everybody listening has probably experienced some of that, if they're on social media for sure, where they'll post something and then somebody that's their friend goes on and, unfriends them because they disagree. And it's weird that we've all been divided so much, and it doesn't have to be that way, does it?
It doesn't have to be that way, and this book is really a guide for how to do that. And it's very, very sad. It's very sad. Politics makes us fight with people we actually know on behalf of people that don't even know we exist.
Yeah.
And these politicians don't know or care, and they gain from it.
This is not your first book. You had a You Can't Joke About That, Why Everything is Funny, Nothing is Sacred, and We're All in This Together. That's a best-selling book, and I got a feeling this one's going to be a bestseller as well. What do you have planned next? Another book in mind, or what's next for Kat?
I got a baby coming out in February, so I think that I'm going to focus on the baby release for a little bit. This is my first one. This is my first one, but I've heard once they come out, you got to really hang out with them for a couple months.
And here's what happens. Then you have follow-up babies after that. So it's like a follow-up book or a sequel in a movie. You have one baby, and then you have another and another and another. That's just the way it works.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on the baby for sure, and also congratulations on the book. If somebody's looking for the book, where can they go to find a copy of I Used to Like You Until, How Binary Thinking Divides Us?
TheRealCatTimpf.com. That's where you can find the book. You can learn a lot. It can help you in your life with your relationships and your life. And it's a really fun and funny and read where I spill a lot of tea on myself in the book as well.
I love that. And funny is a good thing. And you are super funny. You're a stand-up comic and also a host on Gutfeld, which is one of the most popular TV programs in the world. How does it feel to be on a program like that is so successful?
It's fun. It's also it's great. I mean, it's unexpected. It's exciting. I never know what Greg's going to ask me. I always prepare for the show and I prepare for things I want to say. But, it's just like it is to watch it as it is to be on it. You never know really where he's going to go with something.
And I think that's something people like about the show is the fact that you just never know what's going to happen. And the two of you have such great chemistry on the show as well.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Kat, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Again, our guest this weekend has been Kat Timpf. She is a writer, a comedian, and a commentator on Fox News and the co-host of Gutfeld. And she's got a new book out right now. This book is called I Used to Like You Until, How Binary Thinking Divides Us. That's available, and I've got a link to it in the show notes for today. I also have a link to her first book as well. It's a bestseller. You Can't Joke About That. Why Everything is Funny, Nothing is Sacred, and We're All in This Together. I've got a link to both books in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
Charlie has Parkinson's. Recently, Charlie started wearing a bracelet from Vitatech Healing.
I'm an avid golfer, and I was going to give it up this year. I just deteriorated that much. Now I'm back to golfing, enjoying it, having a good time. I just can't stress enough how good it is.
Click on radiosavings.com to hear more of Charlie's story and find out how Vitatech Healing is helping others with ADHD, fibromyalgia, autism, and more. Plus, find radio-only savings by clicking the link at radiosavings.com. That's radiosavings.com.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
In 1987, Indiana state legislators tried to pass a bill that would have legally redefined the value of pi as 3.2 instead of 3.16. They're like, let's just make it 3.2 and get over.
Okay.
And they're like, yeah, that didn't pass. If it would have just, I don't know. Some people don't understand. You don't have the power to do everything.
Right.
Just so you know. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Women are more likely than men to read junk mail. I don't think so in our relationship.
Not in our house.
I'm halfway through something. I'm like, I don't know what this is or why I'm reading it. And she's like, why are you still reading it? I'm like, I don't know. I can't stop. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Guinness estimates that 93,000 liters of beer are lost in facial hair every year in the United Kingdom alone. So just like from their whiskers and the beards.
Okay.
Probably from mainly men, but, I'm not here to judge. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The television was invented 2 years after sliced bread. So when you say, best thing since sliced bread, it's 2 years apart there. And our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
1 cubic meter of seawater contains about 50 pounds of gold. So that's kind of cool.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's really neat. Several fun facts. Now you know. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
If you want a better credit card, it can be easy and not so hard. BetterCreditCards.com. Earn more points and get more perks. Get what you're looking for in a card that works. BetterCreditCards.com. Give yourself a little credit. BetterCreditCards.com. Give yourself a little credit. BetterCreditCards.com.
That's BetterCreditCards.com.
Time now for the Mint Mobile question of the day. It comes your way courtesy of mintervention.com. Question, Heidi. The average person will spend about 5.5 months of their life waiting on this. What is it? I don't think I probably do. I just skip on. I'm done.
I don't know.
Waiting for a web page or a video to load.
Oh.
I don't know how you refer to it, not patient.
Yeah.
I'll click on something, I'll give it a few seconds, and I'm like, okay, whatever it was couldn't have been that important. So I'm like, moving on. Mint Mobile question of the day comes your way, courtesy of mintervention.com.
Charlie has Parkinson's. He started wearing a bracelet from Vitatech Healing, and he's noticed a difference even while sleeping.
Once I got in bed, I couldn't roll over. I couldn't move. I was just whatever position I was in, just a chore to get out of bed. And now everything is so much better.
Click on radiosavings.com to hear more of Charlie's story and find out how Vitatech Healing is helping others with ADHD, fibromyalgia, autism, and more. Plus, find radio-only savings by clicking the link at radiosavings.com. That's radiosavings.com.
Now, some weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. A man who jokingly placed an ad offering to spoil couples' weddings has turned his prank into a business. He's in Spain. Ernesto Renares' unexpected career shift happened when he posted an ad, kind of joking, saying, if you have doubts or don't want to get married or don't know how to refuse, don't worry, I'll object to your wedding. The self-proclaimed wedding destroyer continued, tell me the time and the place and the date, and for $550...
Holy cow.
I'll come to your wedding, and I'll get it called off. Things turned serious when he was inundated with people who wanted him to do it. I'm going to come there, I'll claim to be the love of your life, and then we'll leave hand in hand. He's booked through the end of the year.
Why would you even move forward with a wedding? Why would you say yes?
He charges extra if he gets attacked by angry guests, but apparently that happens often.
I would assume so.
He's like, I object. I'm in love with her. No, it's him. I mean him. I'm in love with him.
I mean, why put everybody through the expense of the wedding if you're not going to go through with it? That's insane.
That's why it's here as Weird News, brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. Time now for the list, brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. We started this list yesterday. I think we're going to probably wrap it up tomorrow, but things are getting out of control. So the next one on the list, too many ads. It says nobody is safe. They take up half your screen. There are several pages that I get on, and it's so filled with ads. I'm like, there's content in here somewhere, I think. I'm pretty sure. Another, things that are getting out of control. Some are going to love this, and some are going to hate it. The Marvel Universe.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
There's too many movies and TV shows to even count. Do we even try to keep up anymore? And I know they made a commitment to, like, tap the brakes, and they're going to quit because they produced so many movies that
crazy.
it got out of hand. And then the last one we're going to get to today, things that are getting out of control. Blinding LED headlights.
Yes.
You can tell it's a new car because your retinas are burning as they're passing you. I don't know how that's safe.
Dangerous.
It has to be dangerous. I watched a video where a guy said, people always talk about what would happen if you could travel through time. And then he mentioned the guy who invented these. He goes, I would go back in time and punch him in the face. I'm like, well, I don't know that I would do that. The list brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com.
Can your IRA or 401k stand up to the next financial crisis? By allocating a percentage of your retirement into physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover, you can diversify and safeguard your holdings from turbulent markets and economic downturns. Safeguard your assets with a tax-free rollover with a Genesis Gold IRA, the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Protect your retirement today with a simple phone call and receive your free gold and silver guide. Call 1-800-200-GOLD or visit GenesisGoldIRA.com.
Time now for the quote of the day. It comes your way courtesy of RadioSavings.com. Our quote today is from Terry Pratchett, who says, "The only problem with being open-minded is that people will insist on trying to put things in their place." Yeah, that is true. I'm very open-minded, and I talk to people who believe strongly one way and people who believe strongly the other way, and I try to just stay out of, pushing my beliefs on people, and there are times that's really tough, because there are times in a conversation where I'm going, okay, does any of this even make sense, the things that you're saying?
Do you hear yourself talking right
Heidi's
now?
giving me the look that I'm doing that right now. Quote of the day comes your way, courtesy of RadioSavings.com. This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think this is good news. It comes your way courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com. And I think this is a really, really cool story right here. From Grand Rapids, Michigan, a young girl gives her lemonade stand money to an animal shelter, but it turned into a ripple effect. This little act of kindness. I think this is neat. Aww. There's a letter here. I'm going to see if they have it typed. I'll just try to read it to you from her handwriting. Dear Kent County Animal Shelter. Some things spelled wrong in there, but that makes it adorable. I had a lemonade stand and earned $80 plus some change.
Holy
and
cow.
My parents matched it. So over $160 are going to the animals. Maybe you can buy a toy or something for them.
A toy.
Sincerely, Abby.
Oh,
Abby, a compassionate
cute.
child, decided to donate her earnings from her lemonade stand. The shelter, deeply touched by the gesture, they got permission first, and they posted Abby's story on Facebook. Said, we received a special donation alongside a photo of the letter. And the thing that's really neat, people kind of liked it, Heidi.
Well, yeah, of course. That's
a lot of people
adorable.
shared this on TikTok, and they shared it all over the place on the internet, so it became pretty much viral. What started as a simple lemonade stand donation snowballed into so much more. By the end of the day, they had over $700 in donations, and it didn't end there. 3 weeks later, they had over $3,000 in matching donations.
Oh, that's so great.
They say kindness is contagious, and in this instance, it has never been more true. They say we really want Abby to see how just amazing a single act of kindness can be. Isn't that amazing?
That's pretty great.
I love that. I've got a link to the story if you want to see it, and you can read that note. It is adorable. There's several spelling errors, but again, it's not like she's, she's 43. So, no, I'm just kidding. Not really. She's just a child. So it makes sense that there would be some spelling errors, and it is absolutely adorable. You can see the note in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday.